Coffee Geek Nation, new coffee launching today. It's the second Ethiopian that we've launched this year, which is exciting.
Cool. Very cool.
How do you generally like Ethiopian coffees? In your, a scale of 1 to 10, where's Ethiopia sit in there?
Ethiopia is definitely at the top near the 8-9. When I got into coffee, I fell in love with a natural Yirgacheffe, and that's kind of what brought me into the whole wanting to really dissect what coffee is and where it comes from and what can change the flavors, because I've never tasted a coffee like I tasted that day.
Yeah.
That's kind of what set me on this trajectory.
I've seen Ethiopians perform that for a lot of folks, and certainly, for me as well, big fan of the Ethiopian coffees. Tend to have a more subtle acidity, high florality.
Yes.
Their aromatics are sweet and pronounced, which is what I generally dig. But this coffee we're calling Tart Pom, short for pomegranate. Here's a picture of this coffee. It's what we thought it would taste like, but that is in contrast to some more classic, the more classic floral forward Ethiopian profile.
We get a lot of in a standard Ethiopian standard. What does that even mean? But in the Ethiopians that I've had previously, we have a lot of blueberry. We do get some floral, but it's not as pronounced as it is in this pomegranate, which is really, really good. And a lot of that flavor complexity comes from the altitude at which it's grown at. Because of the altitude, it has a little bit more time to develop, and the cell structure gets a little bit stronger, and that's what creates these really deep, fruity, floral flavors.
Yeah, and some Ethiopians, I get more just very heavy on this black or green tea, and so the florality kind of comes in this tea-like profile versus getting a nice punch of acidity like we get here.
Yes. Yep. It's very balanced, though. That's one thing about this cup is we do get that florality, we get the really acidic, very pleasantly acidic, but then it does have that undertone that in my language of talking about coffee, we have our highs, our mids, and our bass notes, and we get a lot of that bass to low or higher mid tone, which really helps out round the whole thing out.
Velvety mouthfeel.
Yes, yeah,
so
very full spectrum.
Yeah, you have acidity, and it is tart in this pomegranate cranberry kind of range.
Yep.
But then this nice velvety viscosity that brings
a sweetness.
To your point, balance.
Yeah.
How would you contrast this coffee with the other Ethiopian we have right now, blackberry jam?
Ooh, blackberry jam is a lot more. We say velvety here, but I would almost say it's more viscous. It's got this mouthfeel that feels very coating.
Syrupy,
juicy. Like a juice, yeah. And they both kind of pull their weight respectively, but because pomegranate has a little bit more of a tartness to it than the blackberry, which kind of lies in the half sweet, half sour realm, this kind of hits that 75% pomegranate sourness, which is really, really nice.
I had a wine the other day, which was it was a Syrah, Syrah, it's the same thing. But that particular grape variety I've noticed to be really tannic and kind of punchy. Yeah, and so this to me is super similar in mouthfeel to that. Normally I'd go for something a little heavier, in a Zinfandel or a Cabernet, which I think that's more blackberry jam adjacent, whereas this one's more Syrah.
Yeah.
If you're a wine person.
Which I'm not. I know that it does come from the Nano Genji Mill in Agaro, Ethiopia, which is pretty close to Sidamo, so that's another...
Just west of it.
Yeah, another place that you'll hear a lot about when you hear Ethiopian coffees. Sidamo is a pretty consistent producer of really tasty coffee. And this mill was a sister mill to another mill called Nano Chala, which was a really great mill that would create a lot of really great opportunities for the surrounding farmers around the mill. And the demand for these coffees got so large, Nano Chala decided to expand and create Nano Genji to allow for more opportunity for these farmers to create more product and to get it out to the world. So that's really cool.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for us. Good for you. You can get it now in our cafes and at stonecreekcoffee.com.
Bye.